the sun under the same moon. Nah, but money came, broke the bond in two. Now we fight for the bread. Tell me who be fool? Them say now money make the yarn split.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a really fresh piece of music. It's already making waves, actually, even though it's not officially out until June 6, 2025.
That's right.
Our source material is this powerful promotional and artistic portrait for a song called Money and Misfortune, which is by the artist IHO from the album GENESIA.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission today really is to unpack the message in this track, get a sense of the artist, IHO, and figure out why this urban lament, that's what they call it, why it's hitting such a nerve for so many people. Perhaps even, for you listening. So let's get into it.
Yeah. And what's so interesting, I think, is how one song can act like a mirror, reflecting these universal truths about just being human and also the cracks we see in society.
Right.
So this dive should help us connect IHO's art, which is really powerful, to that bigger picture, what actually matters.
Okay, so the title itself, Money and Misfortune, from the album GENESIA. And as we said, it's described as both an urban lament and a universal heartbreak anthem. What jumps out immediately is that core theme. Money just ripping apart what love built.
Absolutely. And the material we have really frames it in this broader context. It talks about a world where money basically knocks values off the throne.
Yeah.
It even says blood ties dissolve into broken contracts. That's a strong statement. And it gives us, this chilling verdict. Money divides, corrupts, and dehumanizes. It's laying it out pretty plainly.
It really is. And the lyrics, they paint such a vivid picture. I mean, take this line. Back in the days, we stood as one, strong like the sun, under the same moon. But money came, broke the bond in two. Now we fight for the bread. Tell me who be fool? It just instantly throws you into that feeling of broken community.
Yeah, definitely. That lyric captures it perfectly. And the song keeps building that picture, describing a fractured society where Kobo is king.
Right, Kobion.
Yeah, and maybe we should clarify Kobo is West African slang, basically meaning money, cash.
Okay, got it.
So Kobo is king, and emotional poverty cuts deeper than financial lack. That's profound. It really makes you stop and think, how often do we actually see money's shadow falling over our closest relationships?
All the time, maybe. And the source material doesn't hold back. It says families collapse, friendships just turn into transactions.
Yeah.
Even love becomes a commodity, something you buy and sell. And it's all carried on this melancholic, but also percussive rhythm. It's heavy.
That rhythm is crucial, isn't it? Especially with that chorus. It's almost hypnotic, mantra-like. Kobo, Kobo alauba, mizo Kobo. The source calls it the cry of a people sacrificed on the altar of greed. And what hits home is how each word, it says, strikes like a brutal yet familiar truth. It feels less like a song lyric sometimes and more like an echo of things we've seen or felt.
You really feel that rawness in lines like, dem say, na money make the yanch split. And maybe we should explain those terms too.
They do.
Yanch split, in Pidgin English, kind of implies things falling apart, going wrong. And waka means to walk or move.
Right.
So the line continues. Now, bad luck, they waka in between the rift. Like bad luck is literally walking through the cracks money created.
Wow.
Or there's this, we run, we fight, we lose the way, love don't turn to price we pay. It just perfectly captures how something meant to nourish, like money, becomes this poison, this curse.
It's a bleak outlook.
It is, but here's where it gets really interesting. The song doesn't just leave you in that despair. There's a shift, a flicker of hope. It comes in the bridge.
That's such an important point. Our material really highlights that moment. The bridge goes, but if we close our eyes, reach out hand,
right,
maybe one day we go change the plan.
Yeah.
So you see, IHO isn't just saying this is how it is, tough luck. He's acknowledging the pain, but also pointing towards maybe changing things.
Exactly. He's calling for repair, isn't he? For reconnection. For finding love again amidst the wreckage. It's this powerful sense of agency, even inside the lament.
Resilience.
So let's talk about IHO himself. Who is this artist crafting such a layered song? The portrait we have says that with Money and Misfortune, he's positioning himself as the voice of broken silences and betrayed hearts.
Yeah, and he's described as a social chronicler. Someone documenting the realities, the harsh realities of ghettos, broken homes, souls twisted by having too much money or too little.
Right.
But he's also called a popular poet. taking these sort of urban proverbs, everyday sayings, and turning them into these really sharp, piercing refrains.
And interestingly, a digital griot. I looked that up. A griot's like a West African storyteller, right? The keeper of traditions.
Exactly. A historian, musician, storyteller, all rolled into one. So calling IHO a digital griot suggests he's taking that ancient vital role, but using modern tools, modern platforms to share these truths.
That makes sense. And it builds on the next description. A spiritual composer, weaving these wailing chants like "no" with these deep ancestral rhythms. The source even says he embodies the fracture, like his art is the reflection of the break.
It really makes you think about what artists do in society, doesn't it? The material calls him things like a fallen preacher still standing, a brother singing the truths many are too afraid to speak. It's a really evocative image of someone bearing witness, you know?
Definitely. So, okay, bringing it back to you listening right now. Why does this deep dive into this one song, Money and Misfortune, why does it matter? The source actually gives some pretty compelling reasons.
Yeah, the first one hits hard. It says, because we've all lost someone over inheritance, money, or the lack of it. That grounds it immediately, doesn't it? It taps into something almost universal, sadly.
It really does. And then it says, because GENESIA is a mirror of our era, and Money and Misfortune is its most honest reflection. It suggests this track isn't just a song, it's holding up a mirror that's maybe uncomfortable to look into.
The description says it grabs you by the throat and opens your heart. Intense imagery.
Very.
And ultimately, I think this deep dive highlights that the song, according to the source, tells the truth in a world drowning in lies. And in today's world, you know, with so much noise and misinformation, that feels incredibly relevant, finding something that feels true.
What a deep dive that was. Wow. We've really explored how IHO's Money and Misfortune just lays bare the destructive side of greed, of materialism on our connections. But crucially, it doesn't stop there. It still offers that thread of hope, of reconnection. It feels like a song that really embodies the breaks it talks about, but also maybe shows a way to start mending them.
Absolutely. And it leaves us, I think, with a pretty provocative question to chew on. If money can so easily shatter these fundamental bonds, love, family, unity, then what changes do we actually need? You know, deep changes maybe in ourselves, maybe in society, to really change the plan, like the song says, to consciously choose what feeds our souls over just chasing material gain. It's something we're thinking about long after the music stops.
Brother they scheme, sister they lie, rich man they laugh, poor man they cry. Now, empty hearts full of greed. Every man for himself, that's the creed. Them say no money